Hi, today I'm going to show you a little bit about scoring cardstock to create cards. So I'm going to talk about an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and there's two different ways you can make cards. You can have a portrait or landscape card, and of course if you turn it around you can get either, but there's two different ways to cut it. So the most common way that I cut the cardstock is along the 11-inch width. So I cut that in half, which would be at 5.5. So I'm going to line up my cardstock so that it's at the 5.5-inch mark, and I'm going to use my cutting blade to cut that in half. And from this I would get 2 cards. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across now the 8.5 length, so I'm going to turn it 1/4 of a turn, and I'm going to score it at half of that, which is 4.25. So I don't want to use my cutting blade, I want to use my scoring blade, or you can do it by hand. So I'm just going to line this up at the 4.25-inch mark, and I'm going to score it at 4.25, so that now, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a score line right here at 4.25. And now when I fold that in half, I have a regular card which is 4.25 by 5.5, and you can show that the portrait way, or you can do it the landscape way. Then you can take, and I'll use my Coastal Cabana paper to show you this one. You can also cut it across the 8.5-inch, let me show you it right here, the 8.5-inch side, and you can cut it at 4.25. And that leaves you with a longer sheet of cardstock. And then at the 11-inch side, you can score it then at 5.5. And that's, you're using the scoring blade, not the cutting blade. You can see the score mark right here. And then that can give you either a card like this. Just try to make it so you can see it. A card like this that opens up. Or you can hold it this way and have a card that opens up this way. So those are two basic ways to have cards using a regular 8.5 sheet of cardstock, and you can have them go either way.